Marriage is a beautiful thing, and these Bible verses will show you just how much God values it. Marriage is such a beautiful gift from God. Throughout the Bible, there are so many verses that talk about the importance of marriage and how we should cherish it. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. This verse is often referenced in regards to marriage as it highlights the intimate union between a husband and wife. It emphasizes the fact that marriage is a partnership in which both individuals leave their families to fully commit themselves to each other. This union creates a oneness between the couple as they become inseparable in love and sacrifice for one another. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. This verse emphasizes the significance and honor of marriage and condemns sexual immorality. It reminds us that God holds those who engage in extramarital affairs accountable for their actions. Marriage is to be treasured and protected, not taken for granted or violated. Faithful commitment to one spouse is important in fulfilling the purpose and design of marriage. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord. This verse is emphasizing the importance and benefit of finding a good spouse. Marriage is a blessing from God. And when we choose to marry someone who aligns with His will and brings us joy and companionship, we are able to experience even more favor from the Lord. However, it is important to note that this verse is not saying marriage is necessary for favor from God or that being single is less valuable. Rather, it is highlighting the unique blessings that come with marriage when it is entered into in a godly way. Charity suffereth long, and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. In this passage, the word charity refers to love. This passage explains that true love is patient and kind. It does not envy or boast. It does not act in inappropriate ways, and it puts others before oneself. True love does not harbor anger or joy in wrongdoing, but rather finds joy in truth. Also perseveres through difficulties and believes and hopes for the best. Ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? Essentially, this verse is cautioning believers to not enter into a marriage or partnership with non-believers. This is because there will ultimately be a disconnect in values and beliefs. One partner may prioritize their faith while the other may not. This can potentially lead to strife and division within the relationship. Therefore, it is important for Christians to prayerfully consider the spiritual compatibility of their potential spouse. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a White House. This verse suggests that it is preferable to live alone in a small space than to endure constant arguing and conflict with one spouse. The brawling woman could refer to a contentious and quarrelsome wife, but also could apply to a combative and confrontational husband. Living peacefully and harmoniously with one spouse is better than having a spacious and luxurious home. Ultimately, The verse emphasizes the importance of finding a compatible and peaceful marriage partner rather than being concerned with material possessions or physical comfort. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. This verse emphasizes the importance of finding a wise, prudent wife. In ancient times, a woman was often viewed as property to be inherited along with material possessions. However, this verse tells us that a wise wife is a gift from God and should be valued far above any physical possessions. Marriage is not just about finding someone who can bring wealth or status, but rather finding a partner who has good judgment and character. A wise wife brings blessings and joy to her husband and their household. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. This verse instructs husbands to treat their wives with respect and honor, considering them as equal partners in receiving God's grace. The verse also warns that failure to do so can hinder one's prayers. In other words, a marriage where a husband does not value and care for his wife will not be blessed by God. The wife is bound by the law as long as her husband liveth. But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will, only in the Lord. This verse emphasizes that marriage is a legal bond and should only be dissolved by death or biblical reasons. Additionally, it advises that once a spouse has passed away, the surviving spouse is free to remarry, but only within the boundaries set by God. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. This verse emphasizes the sacrificial love that husbands should have for their wives. It compares a husband's love for his wife to Christ's selfless love for his church. As Christ willingly laid down his life for his followers, husbands are called to sacrificially love and care for their wives. This type of love is not based on feelings or emotions, but rather a deliberate choice to put one's spouse above oneself.